I'd like to give some information that is historical, leading us up to what's happening in the present, that will clarify a number of things. When I saw the photo of the the temple on Jeffrey Epstein's island, it looked kind of strange to me. It looked a bit unreal. Then when I saw on the Q site, which I do follow, the temple in Turkey after which that temple on Jeffrey Epstein's island is supposed to be modeled after, things began to click. Here in Sfat, there is a mausoleum from the Mamluk era, which is used as a Freemason's lodge. It looks very similar to that temple in Turkey, after which the temple on Epstein's Island is said to be modeled. I have some pictures and some threads on my Facebook page. All of the stuff on my Facebook page can be viewed by the public. Please take a look at some of that stuff. I want you to see the photos of that mausoleum and the fact that it is a Freemason's lodge. You will also see in some of the links there that Rothschild did a lot of building in Sfat. I talked about this on my old channel. The Rothschild family also heavily invested in the town of Woshpina, which is a stone's throw from Sfat. It's something like a 3 or a 5 minute drive, depending on how fast you drive. Woshpina means the capstone. So here you have Turkish architecture that is similar to the Turkish temple that is on the Epstein Island, and you have nearby Woshpina. Now, there's also a play on words there, because pin in Hebrew is penis, and Wosh is head. So Woshpina is also the head of the penis, which is the capstone, which tells you that there is a twisted kind of a sexual connotation connected with the issue of a capstone in Freemason architecture. And of course we know that the Turkish branch of Freemasonry, they wear those red caps and all, the name of it escapes me now, is one of the most powerful branches. I am of the opinion that the word saboteur does not come from the French wooden shoe sabot. I think it comes from Sabbatean, Hashabtaim, called in English the Sabbateans. This was an heretical sect whose idea was, supposedly, this is the excuse they used, that the Messianic age can be brought about if the Jews either become perfectly righteous or perfectly evil. And their idea was, since the Jews can't be perfectly righteous, we'll make them perfectly evil, and that'll bring back the bring about the Messianic era. This is obviously an excuse. This is nuts, right? The Sabbateans committed every kind of sin possible. Everything that God said do, they said don't. Everything that God said don't, they did, including incest, including orgies, including adultery, all kinds of perversions. This was part and parcel of their cult. The Sabbateans still exist. There is a group called the Donme, and they are still in Turkey. They are still operative. Shabtai Tzvi, who began the Sabbateans, was captured and he converted to Islam, which means that there is within Islam an influence of these Sabbateans, these saboteurs of the Jewish people and of everybody else. But their main target is the Jews. Later on, a man by the name of Jacob Frank began an extreme, a more extreme, if you can imagine this, version of the Sabbateans. I think that Mary Shelley called her book Frankenstein. I think what she was actually speaking about was the Sabbateans, was the Frankist group of the Sabbateans, the Frankists, in an oblique kind of a way. Mary Shelley was born not long after Jacob Frank died. Jacob Frank, whose sect was even further out, as I say, than that of Shabtai Tzvi. They did things that were absolutely vile, converted to Christianity. And so within Christianity, there is the influence of the Frankists. So within Islam, you have the influence of the Sabbateans, the original Sabbateans, and within Christianity, you have the influence of the Frankists. These people are still active to this day. And their main job is to destroy Judaism, to destroy Jewish morality, and in that way they want to sink the whole world into immorality. This is not an attack on the Christians. They want you to think that. It's not. It's an attack on Judaism. You will find pictures on my page of chief rabbis, including the first two chief rabbis of the modern resettlement of Israel, wearing, first of all, having that typical Freemason thing with their hand in their coat, but also wearing those crosses. Can you believe this? I'm talking about chief rabbis now. Wearing those crosses that are given out by the monarchy of Britain for loyalty. These are crosses that are given out when someone is knighted and they declare loyalty to the British Empire. The first time I saw a photo of Rabbi Cook, of all people, wearing one of these crosses, I was certain that this had to be photoshopped, that this had to be some kind of a mock-up, that this was some kind of a hoax. Well, it's not. There is corroborating evidence. Other people have found it, including rabbis have found it. There is a Sabbatean, Frankist, Freemason infiltration of Judaism. And their intention is to